Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got a guest on the show. So today we've got another podcaster. His name's Zantilo from What's on My Mind. So I'm hoping I said that right. How did I
Yeah,
go?
yeah, yeah. It's from the What's on My Mind podcast that you guys can find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's basically just the podcast I started in quarantine to express myself and to find
Mm,
a certain a way to express myself and and kind of have fun, find something to do in quarantine, because we're all
yeah.
uh in our houses and there's so much things to do, so much things to make money off of too, because it's a way to monetize as well,
Mm,
and to connect with your audience as well.
yeah. It's a good way of just, I don't know, just talking about things that you normally wouldn't really talk about. And then if you can talk about it, it means other people can listen to your thoughts on it too. So I
Yeah,
think it's a pretty fun little thing to start in isolation.
yeah,
So what was the
yeah.
main reason that you decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for a podcast instead of doing other things?
Well, I mean, it's quite a simple story. I'm not gonna like say it's complex or anything, but on Instagram, I was like, the anchor, the ad popped up, and I was like, why not? And I downloaded it. I started the podcast. My first few episodes were not really good, obviously, because I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know. I mean, you start to learn public speaking as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I started to learn as I was doing my episodes. So that's why I have lots of episodes, because I just thought I should do it daily. That's how you progress faster. And yeah, that's what I started to do.
How many
Man,
episodes
me,
do you have like, at the moment?
113, if I'm not wrong.
Wow, you're
ooh,
going
that's good effort.
strong.
Yeah, that's going
Yeah, yeah,
strong. I
yeah.
remember me and Leroy's first episodes. Oh, like we were listening back to them the other day. They were terrible, absolutely terrible. And they went on for so long and they were so bland and just so monotone and
Yeah,
you can really notice the communication skills that you pick up along the way. Like, I learned to smile, so it increases your tone and people enjoy listening to you a lot more. There's some little
yeah.
tips and tricks you pick up along the way.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's just a very, very good experience. And yeah, once you start to do it, you just can't leave it. And you start to get into more podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience
Yeah.
podcast and certain podcasts like that. And you really dig into the podcasting world. And that's what I like about
So you mentioned
So
Anchor. Um, so maybe can you explain to the listeners why you use Anchor and like how it works? Because it's a very nice tool, especially when you want to start a podcast. It's so easy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The reason I picked it was because it's so user friendly. It's so easy to just to start your episode, because once you click record, you can edit it from there. I really don't recommend editing it on Anchor. I edit it on other platforms like Audacity. And that's basically the kit. You just need Anchor and Audacity, and you can make your own podcast. Have a really good rate, and not make it like as boring, because I think editing really makes it the way you want it to sound. And yeah, that's what.
hmm, it's amazing how different you can make things sound with editing. That was one of the things I picked up on straight away. Like you can change so much with some free software.
I know. That's what I saw on Audacity as well. I was like, nah, this can't be free. And I started to look into it a bit more. There's a lot of tools on there, like noise canceling. There's you can cut silences. You can up your volume, bring it down, whatever you want, really.
Mm. Yeah, and it's so simple to use. Like, and with all this free stuff, anyone can really start a podcast if they feel like it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
and
the.
then yeah, granted, it's a bit scary at first, but
Mhm.
once you start rolling with it, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and I feel that with just like social media, you can really get out there and just put yourself out there with YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, like wherever your audience is like really focused on. Like for example, it's if it's a younger audience, then you might want to go for Instagram. And I don't know, I feel it's that way.
Mm. No, it is
Did
that
you
way.
find it? Did you find it hard to get over that little barrier where it feels quite uncomfortable and it's a scary thing putting this thing that you make out there to the world? Did you find it hard overcoming that fear or anxiety?
Well, not really, because the thing with me is that I've never really had anything planned. I just like did my episode, I put it out there. I didn't really like. There's so much like you could say musicians that
Mm.
have done years and years of singing, and they never really published their songs. And maybe they could feel that way because they're finally putting out there all of their feelings and certain uh, emotions that are in that song to the public, right? But I feel that with my podcast, I had barely just started. I put it out there, but now that I've really built something off it, I think it is kind of difficult to put it out there because you do really share your way of being to your audience as well. It's
Mm.
like how you are is like I guess it just really they learn how you are, how you react to certain things, how you think about certain controversial topics as well, and that's it.
Yeah, like
Especially when you're putting an
yeah,
episode out every day. They really are in your mind.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why I did it daily because I was like, okay, so this is a What's on My Mind podcast. I have to talk about what's on my mind, and I'm just gonna do a daily episode every single day talking about what's on my mind. Right now, I've switched it up, and it's a tri-weekly podcast kind of because
yeah.
I'm in school and there's certain things I need to do.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, time can make it hard. Like we started off burning out an episode a day, plus others on top of that. And it takes its toll on you. It's hard to keep up with that constant demand. Like we've always had the plan of trying to change our shower thoughts one we do every second day now.
Mhm.
Because you really have to set some time aside to plan, make it
Yeah.
sound good, edit it out, get all the
Mhm.
social media stuff for it ready too. And it's
And as
not,
you
it's,
said, as you get
yeah.
better, you want to produce better quality too. So
Mm,
you're a
Yeah.
bit more critical on yourself. So you really want to, be true to your listeners and give
Yeah,
that
yeah.
best output.
mm,
Definitely. And you start to like listen to other podcasts and I'm like, why haven't I done this? Or why haven't I made a link tree link? Or why haven't I put it out on YouTube? Or why haven't I made an Instagram account?
mm.
And there are certain things that start to pop up and you want to create it.
But that's the hard part is like, I find it's really easy to get caught up in what the competition's doing.
Yeah.
And, of course, the podcasting community is very friendly and it's very warm and welcome. But it's like any competitive field. There's always going to be people doing better than you. There's always going to be people doing worse than you.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I know for me and Leroy, I'm quite competitive. I get caught up in the competitive side of things. Do you find that you compare your podcast to other podcasts a lot, being like, oh, mine's not as good, or oh, there's areas I want to do better?
Yeah, I think I do compare myself a lot to other podcasts, and that's helped me make better content. But I'll tell you guys like a funny story. Like I was looking up my name, like once I had created the What's on My Mind podcast, and I was like, okay, What's on My Mind podcast. I looked it up on Google Chrome, right? And then there was like these other three What's on My Mind podcasts, and I was like, what? No way! Come on, bro! Who stole my name? Who stole my name? And then I was like, and then I realized some podcasts were already there like before me, and yeah, I guess that's what happens when you don't really plan your name.
Yeah, it can be disheartening, like when you see other similar podcasts, but in the end, people often like, if someone listens to a podcast, they will listen to more than one normally. So as long as you're producing that quality content and getting out there, you can have more listeners, I reckon.
Yeah.
So why should people listen to your podcast over other people's podcast?
Sorry.
What gives your podcast the competitive edge? Why would someone want to listen to What's on My Mind with Zantilo as opposed to What's on My Mind with Sam and Leroy?
I think in my case, I give like a teenager's point of view of certain things, and that makes it fun to listen to because it's very fast, and I try to edit out as much spaces as I can. So it's sort of like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Logan Paul on YouTube or something like that, and it's a very, very fast pace. And I think that's what teenagers are sort of looking for these days. So I've been trying to do that on my podcast, on my most recent episodes, and it's been working. Like, it's been getting more plays, and I hope that's what's
And it's relatable to a specific population. You know, like I think a lot of people go very generalized and then they get nothing. You know, I feel like from what it sounds like, you'd be able to pick out the things that, the people that would like listening to your stuff, and then you've tailored it to them. So it's not an easy thing to do, but it sounds like, I mean, you've done it. You're a very popular podcast.
Yeah.
Nah, your podcast is like way better.
You get some serious downloads. I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
you do well.
I've been getting pretty good downloads, but I mean, I was listening to your podcast as well, to the 4 a.m. Club podcast, and it's honestly really, really good quality you guys have been creating. And your tips as well, like the tips, like for example, on how to get over a bad day and certain things like that. I've been using it in my own life, so I think that's pretty helpful and useful.
Yeah, I guess that's hopefully our goal. We want to try and
that's the dream.
Help and guide and teach, and then I guess inspire as many young people as we can. So hey, we got one. We got one.
Yeah,
one's better than zero.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, as Leroy said, like it can be a bit disheartening when you don't see like fans engaging or certain things like that. I feel like there are so many fans that just don't feel like talking, or they don't know where to like message you, and like they're feeling the same thing as like I'm telling you guys right now, like that it's helping their day and certain things like that, but they don't know how to reach you. And that's why I think it's important to sometimes plug in your social media. And yeah.
So what social medias do you have? Because I know you have Instagram. Do you have a Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah, I have a Facebook. Thanks to you guys, I'm thinking of YouTube. Yeah, and I've been using like these short clips, or I think that's how it's called, that Anchor can create for you, and I've been putting them out there. But I'm looking for like a sort of more professional feel before I start getting into like YouTube and video podcasting.
It seems to be where the future direction of things seem to be going. Like I think the population of young people especially, they, one sensory thing is good, but if you can add in another thing too, combine audio and visual, then hey, bam, you can, people can just sit there and eat their lunch and watch you just yap away about whatever's on your mind. And then, I know for me, I'm a big visual person. I like watching anything, even if it's nothing. Like I remember there was a TV show in the middle of the day where it was just a train that drove through the middle of Australia.
Oh yeah, that one.
And then it was nothing happened at all. It was just a train driving, and that was all that you watched for an hour. But it was amazing. Like, you just sit there, you kind of, eating your lunch. That's crazy.
No, come on, Sam. Come on. Just watching the train go by. No, yeah, that's very true. And we see it in like certain podcasts such as the Joe Rogan Experience. Like, wow, I honestly couldn't stay like 40 minutes listening to that. But I can stay 40
Mm.
minutes watching that.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Joe Rogan Experience is truly awesome. I feel
Yeah,
like he's become the idol of a lot of podcasters.
yeah,
And well, I know that we've certainly modeled, a good portion of what we do off the way that he delivers, content, because it's so effective and it's so interesting to watch. I feel like I've learnt so much from his podcasts, just in terms of just life in general, because it's a really easy way of soaking in this important information.
yeah. And with tons of guests on as well.
Mm. And
Yes,
man,
very
he
interesting
gets some
guests.
guests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
some
No,
wacky
like,
stories.
yeah, man. No, he had Mike Tyson on the podcast like 2 times.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So we've got a shower thought question for you. I
Okay.
guess we're combining two little things in together. So if you had a button right in front of you, like a big red juicy button you just want to smash down, and if you click the button, you get rid of all of your own social media forever. You can't go back on it. Do you click the button or do you not click the button?
Ooh. Oh man,
Big one,
this
isn't
one's
it?
hard.
It's a big one. It's a hard
Yeah.
one. We'll
Yeah,
break,
I
we'll
feel like,
break, we'll break it down first. So what would be some pros for you in terms of having no social media?
wow, I mean, there's so much, I think there's so much pros because I feel sometimes as a young generation, we start getting more and more fixed into our phones and suddenly you start to realize that you can't let go of it.
Mm,
And it just becomes this like, I guess like you just pick it up and then it's just I don't know. It's a weird pattern where you just pick it up because you need to see the phone. It's not because there's anything there,
Mm.
or anything or any notification. It's just like the need to pick it up. So and I feel the most um I guess time taking apps that are in the phone that is causing that sort of addiction is social media. So I guess if we parted from social media a little bit more, if we parted from social media, we could have so much more time on our hands and really get to know our passions and hobbies
yeah.
that we don't know we have.
Not have all of what, is important to us be drowned out by what's important to everybody else at the time.
Exactly. And
Shut all that crap out.
yeah, definitely. And
All right.
and
So
and
some
when
cons of no
oh,
more
okay.
social media.
Cons. Okay. Oh wait, didn't I say the cons? Oh,
Like the cons of
yeah.
you getting rid of it. So
Yeah.
essentially, could be like you don't connect with your friends, like your relatives from who don't live in the same area. Like
Oh, okay,
probably would
okay.
connect.
Yeah, okay. I guess like as a podcast, the promotional side would go down a lot because people don't get to know your podcast. They just don't. You just can't put it out there without social media.
Mm.
It's not like someone is just going to magically search up your name and they're going to find it. But yeah, I think that's the cons of letting it go on the podcast side, and maybe on the social side, well, your friends won't be able to really get to contact you to like play games to get to reunions. I don't know, whatever.
Mm. I guess for me, one of the main things is you'd lose that connection to the people that you're not very close with, location wise at the time.
Mhm.
Like, social media has been good for me because I moved away from, well, I moved states. So I was in Sydney, New South Wales, and I moved to Victoria. And, social media has given me the chance to stay in touch with everybody, no matter what. But I don't know. I think I would hit that button. I think I'd smash that button and say goodbye to social media forever.
Yeah, I think I would too. I think it's a very, very difficult choice to do, but I would too.
Mm. I'm on the fence just because, yeah, it's bad and it's very distracting, but at the same time, it is so enabling in its own way.
Mm.
And like Sam said, the ability to talk to people from a distance. Like, for example, a lot of my family live in Zimbabwe, and calling, it is so, so bad. You just never really get through. But as long as someone's got an internet connection, you can just message, call on WhatsApp, call on Messenger. So that tiny bit of it there, because I know a lot of people in this world are spread from their family and friends, and that ability like to make that scalable approach, and those group chats still kind of has it for me. But and then the way that it really changes people's thoughts and like creates hate and funnels all these weird thoughts and just horrible like people on social media just absolutely destroying each other. It's just, yeah, actually,
It can be hard to watch sometimes.
oh, it's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just social media too. It can be the news too. It doesn't have to be just social media platforms. It can just be any type of media platform.
Yeah, I think everyone has like some opinions, and when you give them social media, they put all those opinions out there.
Mm.
And that's what happens, because
That
yeah,
was the
yeah,
general idea of it in the beginning, as a way to put your opinions out. But I think just because people are people, we've just really, grabbed onto this thing, and then they've just turned it into this big dragon that just can't be stopped right now.
Mm. So in regards to social media itself, how have you found is the best way to actually, interact and reach out to your listeners or potential listeners?
I think the best way to put yourself out there in social media is probably by videos, because it's very, very interactive. Not by photos, because once you put out photos, especially for podcasts, like they just can't listen to your content, and that's what happens. Like, you need that video to sort of get them interested in what you're doing, and how it sounds, how the quality is, and really show them how good is your show.
Mm. And do you have any particular way of getting these videos to a set audience? Like, do you go after any particular podcast page and just spam all their listeners and followers with follower requests?
Uh, I used to like every comment on every post, so they could like see that that my podcast had liked their reply or comment, and then they would check out my podcast. But then I realized it was kind of silly, and I was like liking every single comment on the road page, and then yeah,
Wow, that would
that's
be a lot of comments.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a
That,
decent
that's
amount of
that's why
comments.
I realized it was like too much.
Well, it sounds like you've really built like a solid listener
Yeah.
basis anyway. So you're doing something right.
Mm.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope my listeners enjoy my podcast. It's very, very genuine. I just put myself out there, and try
That's
for them
it.
to just kind of connect with me in my ideas and uh, and my way of thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you say, you put yourself out there. I think that's one of the greatest ways to actually connect with people, by making yourself vulnerable.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Got to show
definitely.
some emotion, show that you're human.
Get them in your mind.
Mm.
Yeah, just feel
So,
like really.
so
Yeah,
where can
sorry.
people find you? How can they get in touch with your podcast?
Um, I guess through social media once again, or either the new YouTube channel I'm starting. I don't know. I think that those are the main ways that. Oh, or also on Anchor, there's like some messages. I think
Mm.
there's messaging through Anchor where you can send a voice message to the host, and I feel that's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be sure to share your podcast
Yeah.
with our listeners for sure.
And we'll tag you. We'll tag your little thing too.
Oh,
What's your
don't
Instagram?
worry,
What's your Instagram name so that people can check your good stuff out?
Oh, it's what's on my mind _ the podcast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool page. I don't post that often because sometimes, as we were talking about, it just consumes a lot of time, and then I find myself taking more time on social media than actually focusing on my podcast. So that's why I don't post as much. But yeah, I try to be as active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on and chatting about, the basis of forming a podcast and what podcasting means to you. And we'll be sure to catch up with you in a couple of months' time. I'm very much looking forward to where What's on My Mind is up to.
Yeah.
I see big growth for you. You are
the
new Joe Rogan.
We'll run you down at some point, mate. Don't worry.
Nah, you guys are like way ahead, and all your move for sight. I think that's just been really, really nice, and I think it's been bringing you guys new listeners as well because it's a really, really good cause, and I've been trying to run as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. Next time you run, send us a screenshot of your run, and then we can just post that with us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I ran one time, but I'll try to be more consistent, and I'll share it with you guys.
Awesome. Sounds man, it's been really nice to speak to you, and we know it's your birthday tomorrow, so I just want to say a happy birthday.
Happy birthday!
Yay!
Well, so enjoy, celebrate, and we'll catch up with you soon for sure.
See you later.
Okay. Thank you, man.